Hey, what's up guys? Bajheera here. Got another gym video for you guys today. This one is going to be a leg day that we did on, I don't know, was it like Friday? Maybe? Friday? I think either way, really awesome leg day and especially encouraging because after being sick for just a little while, I feel like my legs took the biggest hit. But I have been able to catch up my deadlift just fine, as you guys saw from my most recent deadlift video. And then this leg day for me was a bit of a breakthrough leg day in the fact that we did a nice long warm-up, and I've been kind of going back to that. That's something that's been helping me, you know, get back in rhythm, is doing a nice long warm-up with probably more volume than is required or even would be recommended. But it helps me kind of get mentally prepared, definitely helps me get physically warmed up, and puts me kind of in the right mindset to start hitting some heavier weights. So what we did today was, or at least on this day, was 5x5 with 275, and I was going to do 3x3 with 315, and that was going to be kind of like the core of my workout there, and I thought that would be fine. So we ended up doing a little bit more than that, spoiler alert, which we'll be showing you here as the video progresses. But once again, this was really encouraging to me because, you know, you come back from being sick and traveling and you put like 135 on the bar and it feels heavy and you're like, jeez, what is going on here? But when that kind of thing happens, you just kind of, at least for me, I just keep trying to do the next best thing that I can. So even if you know, 135, 185, 225 feels really, really heavy, you at least have to just put those reps in and grind it out, even if that workout doesn't feel great. And you might do that for, you know, 1 week, and then you do a little bit more weight the next week, and then you do a little bit more weight the next week, and then that fourth workout rolls around, and I'm actually starting to feel pretty good again. And that's kind of how it goes for me. I mean, we talked about this last video, how it was probably a combination of a lot of different things. It was being sick for a little bit, you know, not being able to eat right, and then going right into traveling. And then not only when we're traveling, it's not only just the traveling part, it's that, you know, a lot of times we're doing work stuff that requires, you know, a lot of focus and a lot of energy. And so we do that for a couple weeks, and you put that all on top of the fact that I start dieting down a little bit, so I changed my food. So there's just a whole lot of stuff going on all at once that can affect your lifting, which is fine. There's always going to be stuff like that. In your life, there's going to be a whole lot of stuff going on that affects your lifting, affects your attitude towards your work or whatever else. And for me, the best thing that I can do is keep trying to push forward. Is just sort of, don't worry about, you know, that you've lost strength or whatever. Just kind of take an inventory of where you are and start from there. And that also applies to you know, me with streaming. I mean, we're going to do what I normally do with these gym videos and start talking about a bunch of random stuff. But, you know, with the traveling, it's also taken away from my time on the stream and whatnot. So instead of, you know, getting really upset about, like, oh man, we're losing momentum with the channel, or, you know, we've lost a lot of time, it's going to take so long to catch back up to where we were. Instead of doing all that, you just kind of say, well, here we are now. This is our new starting point. Let's try to do the best job we can from here, and don't worry about, you know, trying to catch back up. I think that's an important thing. When I start feeling like I'm behind, that's a bad feeling for me. I feel like, you know, the best thing I can do is just keep working, and that's what I did on this leg day in particular. You just kind of go with the motion, see how you feel, and put in the work. And so this is my fourth set of 275 for 5x5. And I remember on this day, like, I didn't really, like, feel, like, super great until we started finishing up the 3x3. And it's really weird how that works for me. It's like if I allow the weight to sit on me, if I allow it to be heavy, then it will be. But if I just decide that there's no amount of weight that's gonna sort of like keep me down, then I don't know, it's like a full body activation kind of thing. And that's why I like leg days so much, is because, I mean, arms and shoulder day is fun. You get to train arms, it feels good. You know, chest day is fun because you know, training chest, training some upper body stuff, it's all cool, feels good. Like, bodybuilding style workouts are fun. But the thing I like so much about squats and deadlifts, and I know I've talked about this in videos in the past in different ways, is the fact that it's such a demanding workout that it allows you to really give it your best and really challenge yourself to give your best and put yourself in a position where if you are able to sort of like unlock that full power, it feels really, really good. And it's just good practice in general for lifting, and it's good practice in general for life, I feel like, where there's some amount of resistance being placed on you, and whether or not it meets, you know, your full capacity your full capability. If you allow something that's less, you know, less than your best to hold you down, something doesn't feel right there. But whenever you actually put yourself up against resistance that sort of matches your capability and you're able to push through that, that feels really, really good. So I'm talking a lot about how I'm taking time in this workout to warm up for a long time. And that definitely is, you know, physically important for me. I think I've always benefited from a long warm-up. Even when I was a distance runner, you know, I would want to do more than just a 10-15 minute jog to warm up. I would, you know, go for like 20, almost 30 minutes even sometimes. And part of that is definitely physical. Getting blood flow in there, getting your muscles warmed up. But I think one of the biggest things for me is definitely getting myself in the right mental state. And that definitely applies to my lifting as well. So the further and further I go into these workouts, the stronger I get, I feel like. And I think that part of it is getting to like a certain fatigue level where like my mind kind of doesn't really hold me back anymore, I feel like. You just kind of make friends with the feeling of fatigue. You make friends with the particular type of pain that you go through in a workout, and you start to learn to like it, and you start to learn to want more of it. And that goes back to my distance running days. That's like the most important lesson that I learned, was to make friends with that kind of running fatigue and to like it, to almost like hunger for it. So you start off, for me, when I was racing, I would start off a little bit, maybe not slower than race pace, but at a very conservative race pace. And then I would start to actually speed up as I went. And now I don't know if that was the best way to set like a PR, but that was, for me, it always ended up being my best races in terms of my time and my placing, because it was like I got to hunt people down the entire race. So if I start on race pace, then I do well. But if I start off a little too fast, it doesn't, I mean, you kind of burn out a little bit. So for me, just like with my running, my lifting, I think if I start off at a reasonable, you know, nice, slow warm-up pace and build up, it's a lot more fun than starting off like a little too heavy and having all that beginning of the workout kind of sit on you, the beginning of training really heavy sit on you. It doesn't really feel nearly as good to me as if I start off at a moderate pace. I mean, I'm not going to start off slow by any means with my weights or with my running back in the day. I would start off on pace, basically. You just wouldn't try to overextend too early. You wouldn't try to go out too fast. You just start off where you need to be. And that's kind of what I did with this workout, is I had an idea of where I wanted to be, and I started off on pace. I said 275 is definitely not the most I've ever done, but it's a good place to start. Nailed 275 5x5. I think I only have 4 on there, but I did it. I'm pretty sure I did it for 5. 315 3x3, and I was like, you know what? I'm feeling good. Let's just keep going. Let's push it a little bit. We'll do a 355 for a 2x2 is kind of what I planned to do, and I'm pretty sure I ended up hitting this for a set of 3. I'm pretty sure. And that's kind of how this goes, is that you start off fairly conservative, fairly reasonable pace, and then you're like, oh man, I'm feeling good. Let's just keep going. And getting in touch with that fatigue and getting in touch with that sort of like that threshold is exactly where I want to be, because that allows me to not only have like the most fun with my training, but also end up probably being pretty effective and successful at it. So I'm not holding myself back saying, okay, you can only do 315 3x3 and that's the end of your workout. It's like, no, you go ahead and have some fun, get warmed up, do your initial work, and then go to work. So I ended up doing this for 355 2x3, and now once again, this is not my heaviest lifts that I've ever done by any means, but this is the heaviest that I've lifted since I had gotten sick. And this is also a slight change in the way I've been training, because before I got sick, I mean, and I talk about I got sick like it's some big event. I just had like a little stomach bug, took me out for like 3 days, couldn't eat, couldn't train, and then we had to travel. That was just kind of like a divider line for me, where something was different and then something changed, right? But before that, anyway, I was doing like 100 rep workouts, where and the highest I got to was like 305 for 100 total reps, and I was doing sets of like 8, 7, 5, that kind of thing. But now we're getting back into a little bit of power, so I hadn't done this kind of weight in a while. So I'm like, all right, Jenny, I'm gonna go for one nice easy rep of 365. That'll end our workout. We've been having fun. That'll be it. And it was like, oh, well, that was really easy. Let's go for another one. And we did 2, so we may as well do 3, right? And Jenny's like ready to spot me. I'm like, no, we're gonna go for one more. And as my squats progress, you can see my butt comes up a little bit faster. I have to like kind of like good morning this thing up. But oddly enough, I mean, that doesn't hurt my back, and I don't really think that I have an especially strong lower back. But that squat form ends up being okay. So we did 365 for one set of 3. So I said, well, you know what? I'm really not gonna be satisfied with this workout, with how good I'm feeling, unless I go for one solid rep of 405. So we get down there, it goes up real nice and easy. Pretty excited about that. So what started off as, you know, a pretty conservative workout in terms of my plan ended up being a pretty beast mode workout. And that's just how it goes, man. You get stronger as you go. That's a Super Saiyan workout. That's that Saiyan blood pumping, man. The longer I work out, the stronger I get throughout the course of the workout. And that's kind of an odd thing to do, but that's kind of like a fun way for me to train. Is start off really conservative, do a nice long warm-up, get yourself physically ready, get yourself mentally fired up, and then just go to work. And I know I tend to ramble on these gym videos a lot, but that's kind of why I like them. So I hope you guys like it too. Thank you guys so much for watching. Plenty more gym videos on the way. But until then, we'll see you guys next time. Peace!